Welcome to Garden Wise Adventures. My name is Malie, and today we're outside in the middle of the day in the bright sunlight, so I hope these videos work. I have a couple of videos that I wanted to do today. It's finally time to start planting peppers and tomatoes. But before I do that, I need to make room for them, so I need to do some harvesting. So the first video, the one right now, is going to be about harvesting. We're going to see what we can harvest the 1st of June. We've got several different things that are ready to go. And then we're going to plant the tomatoes and peppers. So I hope you can see what we're doing in the bright sunlight, and I hope you enjoy this adventure with me. So let's get started with the harvest. Now this is going to be a quick utilitarian harvest, so there's going to be no fancy baskets, no fancy bowls to put things in. We're going to use our grocery bags. This is how I generally harvest. I like to be able to harvest things quickly, throw the scraps into the compost pile, and then toss the rest into the refrigerator until I can clean things up. So we've got my trusty knife to cut things apart, and we've got my trusty grocery sacks. Let me show you what we're going to harvest first. Now we don't need a knife for the first thing that we're going to harvest, and that's going to be our peas. Now I don't know how many peas there are right now because I've been snacking on them pretty heavily. But look at what we've got here. We've got the start of one of our purple potted peas with the gorgeous purple flowers. Look at that. I absolutely love that. But none of the purple ones are actually ready to harvest yet. They're about this size. So we're going to start with the green ones. If we come down here, we've got some green peas ready. As I said, there's not very many of these. So we're just going to pick a few for a salad. There we go, that's enough for a salad. Now the other thing that I have in this bed that I like to use for salads, well besides, look at that cute honeybee. Actually I don't think that's a honeybee, that's a different kind of bee. But anyway, I'm going to harvest a little bit of these green onions. These are actually perennial green onions that don't die back. They quit growing over the winter, but they pretty much stay like this the whole time. They look like chives, but they're actually green onions. So we'll just take a few of these for a salad. And there we have it. Now the next bed I want to harvest out of is this one. This is one where I'm going to be putting my banana peppers, and so it's time to take the kohlrabi out. The kohlrabi can be harvested at any time. It's not as big as I usually like to leave it, but it's big enough that we can harvest it. So let me show you what kohlrabi looks like. So this is the first one. It kind of has leaves like cauliflower, but when you look at the base, I found out this is something actually I didn't expect. If you look deep down in here, well, the first hint that I got that this wasn't kohlrabi is the base is not swollen. The second hint is if you look inside, this is actually a cauliflower, so I'm going to need to leave that. But I do see a kohlrabi in the back. I think this is another cauliflower. Yep, this is another cauliflower right here. So we're going to have to leave these two. Let me show you the kohlrabi in the back. So if you look at the base of this one down here, the stem is all swollen. This kind of kohlrabi, I think it's super smelts, can get twice that big, but it's still really good at this size. So let's harvest this one. It's nice and deeply rooted. Look at all those roots. So I'm going to use my knife, cut the roots off. There's the root ball. We're going to put that in the compost pile. And then we're going to cut the top leaves off. So this is what we're going to keep. The leaves on the top are actually good. So they actually taste good. They taste like cabbage leaves. So we'll eat those. So that will leave some room for my peppers to be planted, and we can harvest the cauliflower later. The next thing that we're going to harvest is some of this spinach. Now it looks like, let me check really quickly here, the spinach is just about ready to bolt. Actually, this one is bolting right here. So that one will go into the compost pile, and then we'll harvest the rest of it to eat. The next thing that I want to harvest is some of this lettuce. This is probably going to bolt here shortly. We've got a little red one right here. That one's kind of pretty, so we'll harvest that. Now I'm not sure what this one is. This one was out of a lettuce mix. It's got a really pretty red rib, so I'm going to harvest some of those for a salad. And I just found a radish right here that I missed. So we're going to pull that. We've got a whole bag of them inside. Beets are not quite ready yet. We do have a little tomato here that's fallen over that I need to plant. That's going to be the next video. So right up here next to the bed is a big head of lettuce that I'm going to harvest. This is a lettuce that reseeded itself. It's a black-seeded Simpson. And it's reseeded itself every year for about 10 years. I just let the biggest one, matter of fact, I think I'll let that big one right there go to seed. And then that one will be the one that will provide all the seed for next year. And it's just basically reseeded itself all over the place. I think I'll harvest this one over here though. So we'll just go in, pull that off, and look how gorgeous that is. I didn't buy the seed. I bought the seed once 10 years ago, and I've been harvesting it ever since. So these are a great lettuce. The cabbage isn't quite ready to harvest yet. It's thinking about heading up. We've got some more kohlrabi here that are a lot smaller than the other one. These are a lot smaller than the other one, so we'll wait on those. The garlic only has a few more weeks, and then that'll be ready to harvest. We're letting all my cilantro go to seed because the pollinators love it, and I love to use the seed. I love to use the coriander. So we're harvesting that, or we're growing that for the coriander. So this is my dedicated cauliflower bed. And as you can see, the lettuce has reseeded itself in there, and so has some of the cilantro. But we are going to harvest this gorgeous purple head of cauliflower. Isn't that gorgeous? So I'm really excited to harvest that. Let's get to it. Look at the color on that. That makes me really happy. Now, one last thing that I really love in my salads is the chiji misai. I could take a few of these. Now, these are chiji misai that I grew inside my house and was harvesting off all winter. Then I took them out of their pots while they were still mature and just put them out here in the garden expecting them to bolt, and they just keep growing. The same with this kale right here. Now let me show you something else I could harvest if I wanted to use it for the salad, but I just am not quite in the mood today. This right here in the shadows is lovage. Look how much of it we have. It reseeds itself readily. This tastes a lot like really strong celery. It has a little bit of a different flavor, but it is pretty good. I like using it in soups, and if you like it in celery, a little leaf would go a long way. The last things for my salad that I'm going to harvest is one or two of these beautiful chive flowers. Now the young chive flowers are really good in salads. They just taste like really strong chives, and they have a beautiful purple color to add to the salad. Now I just want to not disturb any of the pollinators on them because the pollinators love these so much. We'll take 1, 2. So the last place that I'm going to harvest is off of this green stalk. It's getting a little hot for the lettuce in here, so I think I need to harvest the lettuce and get it ready to plant other things into it. You know, other things that are more heat tolerant. I don't want this lettuce to bolt. So we've got some green lettuce and some pretty red ones to harvest, so let's harvest those. So there, that lettuce is harvested, and now we can take it all inside. Now that the harvesting is finished, I can start planting my tomatoes and peppers, and that will be the subject of my next video. So please look for that one. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you've enjoyed my videos, please like and subscribe, share them with your friends, and go have a wonderful garden adventure.